The priest's voice trembled somewhere between grief and duty. I didn't hear much of it, just the sound of dirt hitting wood. 2 coffins, mother and father. The air was still, heavy with incense and rain. The kind of day that swallows light and spits silence. She stood beside me, my wife. Black dress, perfectly ironed, perfectly indifferent. When she spoke, her tone didn't belong in a graveyard. "You're broke," she said quietly. No tremor, no pause. "Your parents left you nothing. Good luck, you're definitely going to need it." I looked at her, not the way a husband looks at his wife, the way a dying man looks at the clock just before it stops. Then I nodded. She took it as understanding. Walked away before the priest even finished his prayer. The sound of her heels against the wet pavement was the only proof she'd ever been there. And I stood still, between 2 graves and one ending. That was the day I buried my parents. And my marriage. I didn't cry. I just memorized her voice, how easily it cut through the rain. Grief has a strange taste when it mixes with insult. It's metallic, like blood you can't quite spit out. For days I moved through the house like a ghost among the things they left behind. Family photos, unpaid bills, half-empty medicine bottles. She didn't come back. No call, no message. Just silence, like she'd been waiting for this moment to finally disappear. I found her note in the kitchen drawer, 2 lines, written in her careless handwriting. "I can't live like this. I deserve better." Better. The word clung to me like smoke. That's when I noticed the credit card statements. New purchases I didn't recognize. Hotel names I hadn't visited. Dinner charges in neighborhoods we never went to. At first, I wanted to believe she was coping, shopping, escaping grief. But grief doesn't buy perfume twice a week or spend weekends in a hotel under another man's name. I stared at those receipts for hours. Not angry, not broken, just awake. Somewhere beneath the numbness, something sharp began to move. I started small, checked the call logs from our shared account. Late-night numbers, repeating patterns. The name appeared once, Dr. R. Malik. Her boss, a man she said barely spoke to her at work. He'd called her 12 times the night before my parents' accident, 6 times the night after. That was enough. I didn't confront her. I didn't call. I just waited. I watched her social media, smiles in places she swore she hated, posts tagged with work trips, always the same hotel in Islamabad. I booked a room there, same floor, checked in under another name. 2 days later, she arrived, hand in hand with him. She didn't see me. She never looked around anymore. She believed the world belonged to her. They laughed. He kissed her wrist the way I used to when we were still something human. And I realized she wasn't running from me. She was already gone long before my parents' funeral. I didn't take photos. I didn't need proof. I just watched. And when they went inside, I turned around, walked to the elevator, and smiled for the first time in months. I wasn't thinking about betrayal anymore. I was thinking about timing. It took a week to set it up. I met with my parents' lawyer, the same one she thought had told her everything. Turns out, my parents had left something after all. Not money, a business share, sealed under my name, hidden until after probate. The lawyer smiled when he handed me the documents. "She thought you were broke," he said. I didn't correct him. That night, she called, voice softer than I remembered. "Can we meet?" We met at the same cafe where she'd told me she was pregnant 3 years ago. Now she wore the same dress. I wondered if she did that on purpose. She smiled like nothing had happened. "I made a mistake," she said. "I just panicked. Everything felt like it was falling apart." I listened. Silent. Still. Then I slid the envelope across the table. Inside, photos. Her and Malik. Hotel receipts. Call logs. Her smile cracked. "Where did you—" "Doesn't matter," I said. "Just wanted to make sure you saw what you traded me for." She looked up, eyes wide, searching for anger. There was none. I'd buried that beside my parents. She called the next morning, crying, said Malik had left her, said her job was gone, said she'd made a terrible mistake. I told her I'd meet her, at the lawyer's office. When she arrived, she looked smaller, hair undone, makeup fading. The lawyer greeted us both, slid 2 sets of papers forward. "These are the property transfers," he said, "as per your late parents' final amendment." She blanked. "Amendment?" I turned to her. "They knew," I said quietly. She frowned. "Knew what?" "That you married me for the money. They changed everything the day they found out." Her breath hitched. "That's not true." "It doesn't matter." I signed my papers, stood up. The lawyer nodded, awkward, sensing the storm. She reached for me. "Please, just listen." I looked at her hand, the same one that once wore my mother's ring. "You told me good luck," I said. "Now it's my turn." I handed her the signed divorce papers, then walked out. I drove straight to the cemetery. Rain again. Fitting. I stood between the graves and let the silence fill me. No anger, no grief. Just space where both used to live. I thought of her face when she realized she'd lost everything. Not because I ruined her, but because she ruined herself. There's a strange kind of peace in that. Not forgiveness, not revenge, just balance. I brushed the dirt off the headstones, whispered, "It's done." And as I walked away, I realized she was right about one thing. I did need luck, just not the kind she meant, because luck is what you have when everything fake finally burns away and you're still standing in the ashes, smiling.